All right, hey people, Russ Jensen. It's about 1 p.m. on 15th of December 2016 here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now I'm going to make this little video talking about money, what it is. It becomes important for us later on when we start challenging jurisdiction of some of these governmental officials and their own criminal activities. So I know everybody thinks that this stuff is money. Okay, look at that big pile of cheddar. Look at all that cheddar, huh? Okay, here's some gold, a little 1 gram bar, carrot bars, look a little business too. One of their another little 1 gram they put into like the shape of a paper dollar, paper money. But what is money, really? Isn't it that? Is it that right there, or is it the fact that you believe that if I give this to you in exchange for this, that you can take this then down and give it to somebody else and they'll give you that? Isn't that what it is? That's all that money is. Now, money's been everything just about you can imagine: shells, sticks, coal, all the things. It's based on a common belief between you and I that what we're exchanging has value, and you take it because you believe that you can go and exchange it to somebody else. Okay? This is not the money. You are the money. What are you doing? You're exchanging your life force energy here, converting it into value of some kind, and getting these kinds of things that we can exchange around. Okay? That is not money. You are the money. So it's just a mechanism of exchange. How you create the tokens, that's the issue that we're going to be talking about here briefly today. The fact that it's what's going on today with your Federal Reserve banking system. I know they wrote the Bank Act 1934, 1935, and it's pretty amazing if you start looking around, researching people. They were doing those bank acts in almost every other developed country around the entire planet at the same time, weren't they? Pretty sure they were. Okay. Now, if we go back, look at our Constitution for the United States of America, start looking at Article 1, Section A, which is the enumerated powers section, where our Law of Nations is located also. But we look at Clause 2 says what? To borrow money on the credit of the United States. Clause 5 is to coin money, regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, regulating the value of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures. Clause 6, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States. Now, I made my little video yesterday, and I made a mistake about saying that the issue of impairing law of impairing obligation contracts is in Article 6, which it isn't. It's Article 1, Section 10. So I apologize for that. But also in that same Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1, talking about no state shall coin money, emit bills of credit, they do, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. Now, if we want to look in our book, Law of Nations, and see what it has to say about money, we go to Book 1. So we're at Article 1, Section 8, Clause 10, Law of Nations, Book 1. Section 105 talks about the establishment of money. And in the first ages, after the introduction of private property and dominion, people exchanged their superfluous commodities and effects for those that they wanted. Exchanging, okay, that's what we're doing. We still do that. Afterwards, gold and silver became the common standard of the value of all things. And to prevent the people from being cheated, the mode was introduced of stamping pieces of gold and silver in the name of the state, and as with the seal and the pledge of their value, because the duty of the state is to maintain the stability of the society. Society has to engage in commerce. We have to engage in commerce in order to survive, meet our personal our indispensable obligation of self-preservation, don't we? Okay? So Section 106 talks about the duty of the nation or the sovereignty with respect to the coin. So the impression on the coin becoming the seal of its standard and weight. A moment's reflection will convince us that the coinage of money ought not to be left indiscriminately free to every individual, for by that means frauds would become too common. Of course they are, okay? Now, so the money is coined by the authority and in the state who are its surety. And they ought to, therefore, to take care that it be good. That is to say, that its intrinsic value bears a just proportion to its extrinsic or numeric value. So, the intrinsic value of gold needs to be equal to what its numerical value is. 100, okay? Needs to be standardized across the board, and that's what the Banking Act we're trying to do, kind of. Okay? So if we come down here too, since the state is a surety, this is Section 107, surety for the goodness of the money of the currency, the public authority alone has the right of coining it. Those who counterfeit it violate the rights of the sovereign, whether they make it of the same standard and value or not. These are called false coiners, and their crime is justly considered as one of the most heinous nature. For if they coin base money, they rob the public and the sovereign. And if they coin good, they usurp the prerogative of the sovereign, of the government. Okay? They will never be inclined to coin good money unless there be a profit on the coinage. And in this case, they rob the state of a profit which exclusively belongs to it. In both cases, they do an injury to the sovereign, which is the nation state, which is you and I. For the public faith being surety for the money, the sovereign alone has a right to have it coined. Now, this footnote here also talks about issues. We'll be finding some more expansion and laws, statutes used around the world, over in England, in Chitty's commercial laws, another one we rely upon an awful lot. Okay? So bottom line here, people, is that bank acts, no matter what was written by Congress, they don't have the ability to do anything, to create a Federal Reserve, to print this money. They could hire them to print it on their behalf, but that's not what they're doing. Now, what they are taking then is to borrow money on the credit of the United States. But the question then becomes is, what exactly is the constitutional definition of money? So the only place that we talk about anything like that, now you got to understand too, step back for just a second and think about what's happening when that Constitution was written. We, the people of the United States. The United States was created by that document as a federation of other independent nation states that were going to work together on certain instances, but still maintain their own individual sovereignty. Now, the District of Columbia is not a state, as in the same sense that Utah is a state. District of Columbia is a nation state, a foreign government which is foreign to the state of Utah. It was created to work on behalf of Utah. Okay? So the only place it talks about coining money is Article 1, Section 10. Coin money, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. What does this say right here? What does it say? It says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. How is that possible? But the state out here, my state of Utah, your state, wherever you happen to be at, is allowing this to be passed around in payment of debts. Now they're saying, well, that's the state can't make anything but gold and silver. But the Congress, District of Columbia, which is foreign, a foreign coin, has the ability to coin money. But the only thing that is talked about, we talk about it down here too, again, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 10, Law of Nations, Book 1, Section 105, gold and silver. The only thing that can be coined by the government is gold and silver. Now, this is all private script. Okay? So, when you're using this, we're operating on, what do we just say down here? Chitty's commercial law. You're engaging in commercial contracting. If any of you have ever bought a coin or gone to a coin store, the state has sales tax, like the state of Utah. Guess what they don't charge? Sales tax. Why? Because they know that they can't. That's a constitutional form of money that cannot be taxed. Why? Because it falls into the same realm of what? My unalienable, unalienable rights of life and liberty and a pursuit of happiness. You absolutely have to have the ability to exchange things in order to work on my self-preservation. I absolutely have to have the ability to exchange things in order to fully enjoy my liberty, my ability to move around, my ability to do things, to exchange my life force energy into some form of value. So, yeah, we can exchange this stuff all day long, and that's why they also then turn around and claim that they can put a tax on that because it's an excise, it's an activity that is not, this is not constitutionally protected money. But in that Banking Act, and some other areas in their commercial codes, which I'll show you guys later, I can take a check from you right on the back, redeem a 99.999% refined LBMA gold, or LBTG gold, or whatever it is that I want, gold or silver, and that then converts that check, that piece of paper, into a species known as gold or silver. Now, are they going to redeem that for me? They won't. They don't have it on hand. But the law states specifically that they must do that. It also states very specifically also there in certain places that you cannot demand, since we're now, since they've claimed that they've set aside and then put the gold standard on hold because of that so-called banking emergency, that you have to use these kinds of things, but you don't. In fact, it states very specifically that you cannot make a demand for payment of debt in any specific type of specie. Because this isn't a payment for debt, it's a discharge. It's putting it off till the future time until I actually have some gold and silver that I can pay my debt with, because debts can't be paid with anything but what? Gold and silver. Okay? Article 1, Section 10. No state. Now, that's all there are states of the Union, individual nation states of the Union. Okay? There is no United States. Okay? That's a concept. It's words on paper. It's a designation. It's a governmental organization that has 10 miles square, and that's it. Whatever territories they might have for forts, armatures, but not huge tracts of land that they claim that they have. No, they don't have permission to have those things. No, they may have entered into cessation agreements with the states, ceded over certain parts of the states to the federal government, but still has to fit into those very specific requirements that are laid out in Article 1, Section 8 for them, Clause 17 primarily. So the only place that we can do anything is in a state of the Union, between people exchanging things. The only payment of debt as authorized here in the United States of America, in your state, my state, any other state, gold or silver coin. Okay? Even this is not gold and silver coin. Okay? So, does that matter for us? Sure does, because later on when you're talking about their accounting practices and the fraud that's going on, the embezzlement that's going on because they are engaging in embezzlement by creative accounting techniques, and the fact that they have lied to you about money. But it is what they're forcing you to utilize, because the other types of exchange, commercial contracting, has been monopolized by this particular small criminal group. Did all the way around the entire planet. So